What's happening, everyone? Welcome back for another review for some trades, day trading review. So we're gonna recap the trades from today and from yesterday. So yesterday um, was an interesting day. We had a lot of momentum yesterday. A lot of things were going pretty crazy. BBIG was one of them. So I made a little bit of money on this. Really wasn't anything significant, or I might have even finished. Yeah. So okay. So I made money on that first trade, and then the second trade I think was break even. Um, let's see how that looks. Yeah. So um, basically, this first yeah. So basically, it was one winner and one loser. I saw this pumping up, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna go long right after this pullback. It held, and then it started getting some buying pressure, so I went long, and then sold into that rip. I should have held a little longer. If you look into the trades a little better, it was one of those things where like I got long here and it immediately shot up, but instead of holding to the $9, I sold too soon basically, um, and only caught a little bit of that move, and then I was trying to get back in on the pullback here. I think I was actually trying to short it. Now that I look at it, um, I'm not sure, but I was either trying to short it, but I think I was actually went long, and then I was just a quick stop. So I think I was thinking, hey, this might bounce, but then it started to kind of go against me, um, or there was I saw a lot of selling pressure coming in, so I was like, you know what, no, this isn't. I don't think it's gonna hold here. And it kind of did, but then it kind of just sold off. Um, so I didn't really trade that one too much yesterday. I kind of kept an eye on it, but didn't really trade it too much. But ADTX was the one that I really traded, made the most money on. Um, it was one of those ones, just like BBIG, that kind of popped up and then faded. But when it did pop up, I got some opportunities on it, so I was able to make money going long. Um, in this initial rip, caught like small 4 cent winner, not much. But then in the second rip, I was able to catch a nice. Um, Actually, okay, yeah. So what ended up happening here was I went long, and then I saw it hitting resistance, so I went short, and then I covered that short. Basically, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go long on this first pullback. So I went long, um, sold too quick, but at the same time, I was like, all right, this looks like it might be overextended. On the RSI, it was a little overextended. So then I was like, all right, I saw this selling coming in, so I got short at $6. Knowing that if it doesn't hold six, it's probably going to be a short. So then it broke six, went down to 580. I got out, um, and then it immediately rips back up above six, all the way almost to seven. So, and I'm not in it at this time. I'm just kind of watching it, and then I'm like, all right, it pulls back, and then I start shorting it again, below 550. So the first one was a loss, but then I got in again, because it kind of faked me out. So then I got in again and was able to catch a nice trade there, 12-cent trade. So it was basically kind of evened out with that trade there. There was a little bit more. So I think it was like 13 cents I made, and where this was like 9 cents. So maybe 4 cent winner between those two trades. But after these two trades, I was still green on the day, decently green on the day. And then these two trades here were kind of. I was kind of bored. I start everything kind of. I missed this move here, which really, like, I was watching it. I should have just got short again here or held these shorts, but should have got short again here at the 550 level. But unfortunately, I didn't, and then it ripped so quickly that I wasn't able to catch that move. So then I was hoping, to catch another move, and it kind of just looked like it was consolidating and might be looking to push higher, which it did. So, obviously, if I would have held these, I could have had cover down here, but it looked like it was starting to find a base around the $4 mark, and then it was gonna push back up. So I didn't want to be holding for a bigger loss. So I took small losses there. Nothing too crazy. Basically 3 or 4 cents on each of them, and I was trying to short. So yeah, so that was ADTX yesterday, and BBIG. It was a green day. Made like 20-30 bucks Canadian, probably 35-40 Canadian. Nothing crazy. Today was a little bit better. So today I basically just traded CLII. So it's an interesting company. I don't mind the company at all, actually. Like Climate Change Crisis Real Impact is the company's name. I don't know too much about them, but and it really wasn't me like shorting this because I don't like the company. It was me just shorting it because of technically it was having a ton of resistance at the VWAP, and it was fading, and it kept fading. So my thought process was, well, and the funny thing is I was watching this thing at 24 and thinking, man, wouldn't that be a great short getting in at 24? But again, because of OBL and the other day, I've been kind of in that situation where I don't want to try and pick a top when I'm not being 100%. I'd rather get in on one of these reversal candles, knowing that it's not going to push back up, right? Or getting back in below the VWAP, which I did wait for it to break below, retest, showing me that it wasn't going to hold like OBLN did, break below, then come back up, and then give you this huge move higher. It was going to hold below the VWAP, and because I saw that weakness, that selling, and that resistance and VWAP rejection, I got in short at 22.12, and I held until I pushed lower, sold half at 21.88, sold the other half at 21.68. So caught a nice 50-cent move there, and then got in short again, covered for a loss, kind of faked me out there. But then I immediately got right back in, and now my stop was the VWAP, so I was able to hold into these lower moves, and was able to catch a nice move here from 21.63 all the way down to 20.96, and then I think I got chopped out on that one again, but then I was able to get right back in, and I think maybe I got chopped out on all of these, but see, the thing was is that I had gotten in on bigger size back here, so when I was already up, I was up pretty nice, so I started getting in on smaller, only like a quarter size, or a third of the size that I was getting in with back here, so with 20 shares instead of the 50 that I was getting in with there. So then that allowed me to kind of have more confidence, and not, I was giving back some profit, but it wasn't really huge. And then basically I was watching it into the VWAP. I was waiting to see. As soon as I saw that it really wasn't able to break it, and it was hitting resistance again, I was getting in short again. I started to build my position now. So I got in short. It immediately pushed down, so I covered that, waited for a push back up, and just started to build my short position again, with the VWAP being my stop. So really having like a 20, 30, 35 cent stop for the most part, and just knowing that like if it can't break above the VWAP, it's probably going to reject hard, which it ended up doing. So then I covered pretty much my whole position into this flush. So it ended up hitting a low of like 20.80 or something, and I covered around 21.35. So it wasn't the best cover, but it put me green on the day pretty decently. So up 50, 60 bucks on the day. So not bad. Not a bad trading day. Better than Wednesday, that's for sure. But finishing the week with 2 green days is nice. This week I have 3 green days and 1 red day, but that 1 red day was unfortunately worse than my 3 green days. So it's close, but at the same time it's definitely still down red on the week, which is unfortunate, but what can you do? That's the way it goes. So we'll be back at you next week. That'll be my last week of trading full time for the next couple months, because I'm probably going to be going back to work full time at least until the spring. So we'll see how that goes, but I still will make some videos for you guys, give you guys some updates, but for the most part I'm going to be kind of trying to focus a little bit more on my book and getting my book published, and kind of getting a little bit more money saved up, so that when I do kind of end up trying to trade full time, I kind of have more of a support level of, you know, economic support for me to fall back on. Now, I don't ever want to rely just on, you know, one thing as my income. And like I said, I don't think, you know, I'm not no expert in trading, certainly not. You know, I'm not even, I wouldn't even call myself a good trader. You know, like, I'm a decent trader. I would, maybe not even decent, maybe, you know, below average, but not the worst, but not the best either, right? Like, I'm not a good trader. Let's just leave it at that, right? So I hope you guys understand that when I make these videos, it's to show you guys my thought process, to show you guys kind of why I made the trades I made, and to kind of help you guys understand my journey and my kind of learning, my growing pains as I learn these strategies. I'm not trying to be an expert. I'm not trying to give you guys trading advice. I'm not trying to say, hey, go follow these strategies, short every time into the VWAP, and, you know, go long every time it, you know, it breaks above, or, you know, you kind of have to have your own strategy. That's the best advice I think I can give to any new trader, is that you need to have your own strategy. Don't allow any guru or any of these guys on the internet to tell you, hey, this is how you need to trade. You know, Ross Cameron, Warrior Trading, is like, you got to go long. You got to buy the momentum, buy high and sell higher. You know, and there's other guys that are like short bias that are like, no, you know, short all these penny stocks and, you know, just hold them for a week and you'll be making, you know, tons of money, and those strategies work, right? These are strategies that work, but it's up to the individual to learn how they can develop these strategies and what works best for them as an individual trader, because we all have our own emotions, we all have our own kind of preset, you know, things that get us going, you know, things that'll tick us off, or things that'll inspire us to do better. So we all have different motivations, and that's what makes us all great individuals. You know, we're all different beings, so we all have to learn our own emotions, our own strategies, what works best for our own kind of game plan. And that's probably the best advice I can give to any new trader, is learn your own strategy. Don't listen to really anybody. Listen to them, but don't take what they're saying at face value. Do your own research. Learn these strategies. Look at what they're seeing and kind of look at it a consistent basis and see, does this work? Does this work? You can see here with CLII, you know, like I said, I'm rejecting into the VWAP. So once you see it come up here, try to test, and then you see this downward wick here. This wick is showing you that there's a ton of selling pressure at the VWAP, and it can't break it. So if you just get short here, again, right, you get short here, 21.80, you hold for this, you get $1 a share. Hold through this, you get $1 a share, right? And you go in that with 2,000, with like 1,000 shares, and you're up $1,000, right? Or whatever it is, right? But it's just this concept that, like, these strategies work if you can allow yourself to understand them and kind of test them and see them work again and again and again. And obviously sometimes they don't work, and that will happen. Like, you know, there's always times that happens, but you need to kind of be able to learn from those, why it didn't work and how you can prepare if that happens again. But don't throw your strategy out the window and say, oh, this just doesn't work because I lost a couple times, you know. But maybe your strategy isn't good, and that's the other thing is that I'm learning, right? But what I've learned typically is that this strategy of shorting below the VWAP into the VWAP projection is a good strategy, and it does consistently work. The problem in my experience is that I typically, you know, have a hard time waiting for this setup, and I ended up trying to short up here and losing. And you know, but then sometimes I win because I do end up, you know, picking the top and catch a huge winner. But it's harder to pick the top than it is to understand that if it rejects at the VWAP, you're going to get a nice sell-off, right? So these are different strategies, different shorting strategies. Some work, they both work, but it just depends on how well they work and how kind of well they work on each individual stock, because every stock's different, right? OBLN on Wednesday is different than CLII today, right? The likeliness that CLII goes up 1,000% today is very low, but the likeliness that OBLN did on Wednesday, you know, it was also very low, but it did, and I lost money on it. But The idea here is just that we want to learn from our mistakes, but we also want to learn from our positives. So when I see, hey, this VWAP did reject and it wasn't able to break through this level, and it did give me a nice shorting opportunity, learn that these are good things to take advantage of. ADXT, it broke above ADTX, it broke above the VWAP. It gave me a pullback. I bought it, went long, went short, and then should have went long again after I covered there. I should have just went long, knowing that this is another 1 minute pullback. But at the same time, right? It's hard to, and this is where people always say it's hard to be both long and short biased. It's hard to go long and then short on the same stock at the same time. Like, it's hard for a lot of people to do this, to go long and then immediately go short not even 2 minutes later on the same stock, right? Like, how do you, because it's such a different mentality, right? In 1 second you're rooting for the stock to go up, and the next minute you're rooting for the stock to go down, right? And I find that I have a, I'm okay doing it, but I'd rather take scalps rather than hold these for longer moves, unless I'm buying here and then holding to the top, right? That's where I'd feel more confident. But because I just want to take these quick scalps, it allows me to kind of guarantee those profits, lock in those profits, and not risk it, flying back against you. Yeah, so that's that. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my recaps here. If there's anything you want me to discuss, feel free to let me know in the comments below. And other than that, hope you guys have a great weekend. There goes my webcam. But either way, have a great day, guys. Have a great weekend and happy trading. Hope you guys had better luck on OBLN than I did, but what can you do? Adios, guys.